All right, wah wah, what it do, what it do. I always wanted to start out a show like that because I'm a big Slim Thug fan, and I live in Virginia. But uh, like, subscribe, all that good stuff that all the YouTube people say. We are gathered here today for our first ever neighborhood Nipsey Hussle book club, neighborhood Nip book club, and we have a lot to talk about. My name is Victor Rogers, and I'm the founder of Sustainable Growth Creative, and I have an outstanding colleague and co-host. We haven't really named this show yet, but it's going to be the Neighborhood Knit Book Club. You know what I'm saying right now. But Sid, I'll let you kind of do your honors because you put a lot of this together, and this is a labor of love. And I'm glad to be here.
So my name is Sydney. I'm the founder of a marketing agency called Pertinent Media Group, and then I also am the founder of an apparel company called Let Go Let God. Repping, of course. We have hoodies, t-shirts, and long sleeves. We also provide daily prayers in your walk in faith. So super excited to be here with Vic and to just kind of talk about these books and how they've kind of impacted our lives.
Affirmative. So just a little bit about us. We are a part of the Collaboration Creates Currency movement. Robert Youngblood put together, and we were part of his cohort. And her and I have been on these sessions with one another. And I think her first LinkedIn, she was real nervous about it, and she was concerned if it was going to go good or not. And I was just like, yo, I'm so like I'm fanned out because I'm like, yo, I want to do that, and she done did it. So, I hop on the LinkedIn, and it ended up being like, a good opportunity for us to just bond because I was the only guy that hopped on, and we kind of built from there, and that's what got us here. And the whole notion of this show is I'm a neighborhood Nipsey Hustle, neighborhood Nip. I'm just gonna start saying Nip on the back end, right? Because I ain't gonna say the whole thing, but I'm just a Nip fan, man. I've been down with Nip since the marathon dropped, and I got in tune with his music. I think it was on live mixtapes. It was like that black and white album, the marathon album. So it's about a decade, I believe, that I've been rocking with Nip. So, I'm a fan versus Sid. We were trying to find the right word to use, and I said novice at first, and I was like, I don't like that word, and then we asked Chat GPT, and Chat GPT came up with novice. So Sid's a novice, but I think the one thing that we come to this thing together about is that we're both interested in business, and we're both interested in, like, the books that he discussed, right? So what we're going to do is we're just going to go over a list of books and just talk about what these books mean and talk about how they resonate with us from a business perspective. And it's a ton of books, and we're just going to keep doing this until we can't do it no more. But that's my thought process on it. Like, how do you um, take where we came, how we got here today?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, as Vic said, my event, I was like, man, I said, God, just give me one person to sign up. And no joke, y'all, within like an hour, Vic signs up. He's like, I'll be there. I'm like, that's my one person. That's great. And we hopped on and we just vibed from that point on. I mean, we've had these regular meetings and just connected from there and figured we can collaborate on this. As Vic said, he's a huge Nipsey fan. I don't know much about Nipsey to be completely honest with you, so I definitely will give a different perspective than Vic will. So I think we definitely collaborate well, and kind of looking forward to diving into these books, especially this one that we're doing today. I definitely think it's relatable for a lot of people. Especially those that are like in corporate America and those trying to transition to maybe entrepreneurship, or maybe you're unsure of just how that world works. This will kind of provide some insight on how to leverage your skill set to benefit you.
10-4, and I didn't talk about what my business does, right?
No,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
said the
So I got
name. You said the name, but tell the people what you do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, a little bit about Sustainable Growth Creative. What we do is we leverage artificial intelligence, and we teach people how to incorporate that into their process flows. And the product that we provide here is the gift of time. So, if it takes you 20 minutes to come up with this kind of design for your Yeti, right? What we'll do is we'll identify how we can cut that in half, and that half of time that you save, that is due to AI efficiency, whether that's using large language models or various other tools out there, right? That's what we specialize in, and that's what we teach. So, like, if you're interested in learning about AI, if you're interested in putting AI in your process flows, I do a lot of different things with it, and I'm open for business. And then as we transition to, what we're here for today, so the Neighborhood Knit Book Club, it's about 20 books we're going to go over. And the first book we're going to go over today is The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. A couple of other books you can expect us to talk about. Contagious by Jonah Berger is probably the next one we're going to do. The Richest Man in Babylon. Conscious Capitalism. How to Eat and Live by Elijah Muhammad is a dope book. Soul on Ice by Egler Cleaver. And that's just a couple. What we'll probably end up doing on the back end is just putting the whole list. So if you just kind of want to get ahead
Yeah.
before and you want to interact, definitely open to that. But that is what we are going to do. That's what we're here to do. And just as you listen to us and how we get to where we got, AI had a big, big play in this, right? So we
Yeah.
implemented a couple of different prompts to, summarize the book, give us images, and just how it resonates, right? So a lot of what we're going to go over, if you're interested, we can share the prompts. But this is something that I hope that people gain from this. Like, you can use AI to do a multitude of things. Like, Sid and I are like business owners, and we're using AI to go over business books to be better business owners. And like, I don't know if people are doing that or not. But if they are, tell a friend to tell a friend and just keep it going. Well, what do you think about that, Sid?
Oh, no, yeah, definitely. I mean, AI has been a huge, especially since I'm in the marketing world. So AI has definitely saved a whole bunch of time. Vic is the expert. He's helped me out tremendously. He's gave me these prompts, and I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm like, hey, this helped me out a lot. Like, I mean, it's a whole new world. So if you have opportunity to kind of leverage it in your world, whatever you may do to help save time, I would highly recommend it. And just it's a great resource. I mean, that's ultimately what this is. And so, yeah.
10-4, ten
So if you
four.
want to
Um,
dive into the first,
so what we'll do now is we'll get into the fun part, right? And just if anybody's listening to this and they're interested, I got a free prompt library. It's about 120 pages. If you're interested, just
it's
email
amazing.
us. Thanks, man. You be making me feel
It's
so humble.
amazing. No, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. It's like just to kind of let's talk about it a little bit, right? Because it's like one of those things with AI, man. Like I passively taught myself how to use the tool, and in the process of passively teaching myself how to use the tool, I just used a whole bunch of free resources. So it was like the internet, LinkedIn Learning, which isn't free, but still though, like a combination of both of
Mhm.
those things, and I just started putting stuff all together. And I think the biggest thing is learn by doing. If there's
Yeah.
nothing else you get from that, like learn by doing. And if you can get paid to learn by doing, that's the ultimate play. And I've identified how to turn this into a business model with Sustainable Growth Creative. But I think paying it forward is more important. That's why I just give it away.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's just like, with Sid, man, she just is she's very humble, but she got this process where she like just sets up prayers for people. And like, it's been some times in recent, which is unusual for me, but she's got a lot going on, and she's been able to pray for some of my loved ones. And I just needed that right then at that time, man. And if I would have been one of those guys that been like, hey, yo, you want my problem library? I got $100, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if we would
Right.
have had the
Mhm.
same kind of synergy, but it's like I lead with love. And if you want to pay me, cool. And just kind of even to talk about the nip thing, like, being proud to pay for my services is what I'm all about, right? Because what I give away for free was like, when Crenshaw dropped or Mailbox Money dropped, right? When
Mhm.
those two albums dropped, Nip sold Crenshaw for $100 a CD, and then Mailbox Money for a band a CD, and people was like, man, like, why would you spend that much? But God bless the dead since he's gone. I'm telling you, I'm a fan. I'd probably spend over $100 for that album. I don't
I
know if I
bet
spent
you
over a bed yet.
I would say I bet you went over spent over
Yeah,
100.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like that notion of just being proud to pay for a service when you could have just downloaded it off of live mixtapes. Like I was using live mixtapes and that piff, and that's how I look at the prompt library. And also like if you look on LinkedIn, like people are just giving away like massive amounts of prompts, but
Free,
it's
yeah,
like
free resources, yeah.
the biggest thing I'd say is, have you looked at the YouTube resources I added to the top of it?
To the top, I haven't yet. Mm-mm.
Yeah, on the back end, on the next call, I definitely want you to tell me your thoughts on that, because the
You
YouTube
YouTube
resources
University. I mean, there's so
that
many. free resources and to kind of say, just jump in and try. You have to play with it. Um, don't be timid and kind of like, oh, I don't want to use it. Like, you definitely have to. That's how Vic kind of developed. That's how he developed everything. He just dove in, figured out what worked, and then he ended up creating a whole. But I mean, this list is long. Like for every scenario, like marketing, if you need recruiting, if you need a job, like whatever it is, it's multiple prompts. But that's just him diving in to just try it.
100%. So yeah, if y'all interested, let me know. But let's go ahead and talk about 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. So this book offers strategies for achieving power and influence. In essence, it's a guide to dynamic power, and it's a thought provoking study of power dynamics, providing historical and strategic perspectives on the art and influence of leadership, right? So, it's 48 laws, and I don't want to keep y'all forever. So what we did was I took five, Sid took five, and we'll just talk about our thought processes on the five. And then at the end, a prompt that we did and an image that we came up with. And we'll talk about that, right? But like this, the biggest thing that I want y'all to know is like you could type in a chat GPT, teach me about the 48 laws of power, and then correlate that to anything you want, whether it's work, relationship, how to make a better peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Pretty sure there's a 48 law. One of the 48 laws, speak to that, right? So you want to go first with a law, or you want me to go first with a law? We'll just kind of go back and forth.
Okay, I'll start with the law. So
Go ahead.
law number 19, know who you are dealing with. So, meaning do not offend the wrong person, be mindful of the power dynamics in your interactions. So, for this law, and I came from corporate America into my entrepreneurship journey. So, know who you're dealing with is huge. It could be a great thing, it could also be a bad thing, depending on how your work alliances are, I guess, because there's always alliances in these corporate settings. But let's say this person is pretty high up in the leadership ladder, leadership ladder, and you develop a strong relationship with them. You've built credibility and trust. They might help you. They might put you on to like maybe they're hiring for a position that's higher than yours. You might be like a first person considered for it. So if you know who you're dealing with, it's like okay, I have a good relationship with this person. They'll help me out, or maybe the company might be facing mass layoffs. Like I've been laid off from a job, and you might be on the people protected list because of your relationship with that person. On the flip side, you might be dealing with someone that you think they're just a regular person, maybe a regular employee, a coworker, but really they might have those connections with people and you might get caught up. You know what I mean? So I think it's definitely, you have to know who you're around and speak to everybody the same. I'm not saying to like talk to some people one way, talk to another person another way, because that can get you caught up as well. Be your authentic self, be transparent, but also know who you are talking to. You don't have to kind of say everything about everybody. Don't be the office gossip. No gossip here. No, let's not do that because that could also get you caught up. So, but yeah, those are my two viewpoints on just the law 19. Vic, I don't know if you have any insight on that.
I mean, the biggest thing when I think of law number 19, like know who you're dealing with, man. I relate it to like many facets, but from a professional standpoint, right? Treat everybody the same. Somebody taught me a long time
Yep.
ago, like when you go into work, like treat everybody the same, whether it's the person who is, the janitor or it's the CEO of the company, right? Because you don't know who you're dealing with. Like that janitor hears a lot of stuff. It can be very
Mm-hmm.
resourceful for you on the back end. And of course, the
Mm-hmm.
CEO, if the CEO pops up in plain clothes and you don't know who they are, and you out here just making yourself look like a donkey, it's not going to look well. It's not going to go well for you on the back end, right? So I mean,
Right.
that's
Mm-hmm.
extraordinarily important, and it's extraordinarily prevalent when you're trying to harness and cultivate power.
Right. No, I definitely agree with you.
So
Which one do you
then,
have?
my law number, I'm gonna go backwards. Law number 40: despise free lunch. So what that means from a positive standpoint is valuing hard work and earning rewards through effort, promotes self resilience, discipline, and professional growth, and it fosters a sense of achievement and satisfaction. I don't want nothing from nobody. Like my first job, God bless the dead, and I'm so happy that I'm saying this right now because it's like, yeah, God bless the dead. Oliver Singleton was a man who gave me my start in Richmond, Virginia. And if you from the city and you from Richmond, you know Oliver, and like, everybody should strive to live like he did because like everybody got an Oliver story, and he was a business leader that just he was like, if you consider like the Malcolm Gladwell book, a connector, a salesman, and a maven, right? He was that constant connector, and he connected people. And what he did was he connected me with my prior and current my prior employers with my current mentors, right? And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be there. But how that correlates to this law is, man, when I met him, I was like shucking, I was like going in between like job fairs, and dude was like, "Hey, Vic, go holler at this guy." And I came, I met him, and we got to talking. And he said, "Come back and give me a resume," and I did it. But then the next day, he was like, I'm gonna give you a job or something." And me being young, it was about a decade ago. I was like, "Man, I don't want nothing from you, man." And that's just the whole concept of despise and the free lunch. But then I was humble enough, and I checked my hubris, and I was like, "All right, let me see what's going on." And then he put me on with Ken Ampey and Sam Young, and I love those two guys to this day, right? So like a con to that is taking everything for granted and expecting handouts, which can lead to complacency and entitlement, and it may also undermine the value of your work and your genuine accomplishments, right? So when you look at what I said with the pros and the cons and that story I told about me getting that introduction from Oliver to Ken and Sam, it's like, it aligns because like at the end of the day, it's like, I don't want you to give me anything, but at the same time, I'm disciplined enough and understand that, my achievements will be will be greater if really you check your hubris and like you go about it the right way. He offered me something versus like I
Right.
just expected it. I wasn't entitled for it, right? And like I think to this day, it's like whenever I say Oliver name, it's gonna always be with reverence and love, man. So shout out to Oliver.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with kind of you should have the mindset to not to expect anything from anyone. You know what I mean? I think people who have those expectations get their hopes up and then they get really upset when something's not expected. Like, oh, well, that one time you gave me this, this, and this. And it's like, okay, well, you got to work for it this time. Or it definitely ties back into having that consistent discipline and having that consistent work ethic. Especially now. I mean, I feel like I'm 28, by the way, so I'm like part of the younger ish. I'm not super young, but like the people that are, my brother's age, like around 20, 24, younger. I mean, it's like, oh, I gotta do this. Yeah, yeah, bro, you gotta work. Like, I'm not sure what your expectation is. You know what I mean? But definitely don't block your blessings either. If someone's willing to mentor you or help you out, like be receptive of that for sure.
And show up early and stay late. And if you black, you know that you got to do it 10 times more
You
than
got to.
anybody.
Yep.
And
You
don't
gotta
let
make sure.
nobody tell you nothing different, man. Like, man,
It's
look,
different.
because
It's
like
different.
these,
It's different. It is. You gotta be on them. You might see someone, maybe a coworker. You're like, how come they can do this if I can't? You just,
we were
hey,
blessed with melanin and they weren't. So,
yeah, keep it going. God gonna bless you. God got you always,
yeah,
always,
yeah,
always.
yeah. So you
Um,
want to go into the next one?
yeah. So my next one was 14, which is pose as a friend, work as a spy. So gather information by appearing friendly while keeping a watchful eye. So with this one, I was conflicted because I'm like, I my previous point, be transparent, be authentic, be real. Don't foster fake relationships. And I'm against that. I think that's just vindictive. Like we shouldn't be doing that. So from this perspective, I have a con because this could get you caught up. You're like, oh, I'm your friend with everybody. I'm friend with everybody. That person might really think, oh, they're my friend. They got me, and they might get in a situation, and then they're gonna pull you into it, and you're like, oh, I thought you were my friend. And you're like, no. You could have been the person for real that relayed the information, which again, this goes back to like gossiping and just spreading things around. And it's just like, for me, that happened a lot in a lot of my positions. And I'm just very against that. I don't see a pro to this unless you were genuinely, meet a friend, you have a coworker that you're really tight with, you have a good relationship, that's amazing, that's awesome. But you shouldn't foster a relationship based off of, I'm trying to get as much information out of this person as I possibly can so it can benefit me, because long term that's going to blow up, it's going to blow up in your face at some point. And then you're also going to be perceived as a person. It's like, well, I'm not going to go to like Vic, I'm not going to go to Sid, because they act like they're people's friend, but they're really not their friend. You know what I mean? They have a, they're just spreading gossip, or they're just trying to climb the corporate ladder, and they're going to do whatever it takes to get to that point. So that point for me is just all, it's all con. It's just, I was like, that's kind of crazy to go out the way. I mean, people do it. People definitely do it, but I do not recommend anybody. I mean, fake be your friend so I can get to where I need to get to. Like, no, definitely don't condone that.
So what I'd say is, this is a good time for me to use this phrase because I normally don't do it, but I heard somebody say it one time. I'm gonna play angel's advocate.
Angel's advocate,
A-
okay.
Angel's advocate, right? Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna play angel's advocate. So when is this a good time to pose as a friend and work as a spy? Let's talk about the Fearless Fund down in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And the Fearless Fund in Atlanta is dealing with a little situation where we have conservatives who have decided that it's ideal for them to take advantage of a Supreme Court decision around affirmative action and suggest that because they are not being considered for some venture funding that the Fearless Fund has, then they don't deserve to do it, right? So let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about that a little bit, right? So the American Alliance for Equal Rights, the American Alliance for Equal Rights,
Mm-hmm.
the American Alliance for Equal Rights is an organization that is funded by dark money in politics,
Mm-hmm.
conservative politics, right? I'm not left, I'm not right, I'm not red, I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
blue, but this is just the truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they have an organization where you pay $10 and you can contribute to any of the things they got going on, but they'll never give out your membership, right? So think about that. Like, if you want to be the dope man and you want to funnel a whole bunch of money through a
Yeah.
political organization, this would be an organization you could do it through, or anything similar to this, right? So if I wanted to be like the Sackler family, the Sackler
Mm-hmm.
family is a family who is responsible for all of the opioid deaths in America for the most part. I want to say that allegedly too, because I don't want this to get pulled. But let's be clear: nobody sold more drugs than that Sackler family, but Big Meech and Southwest T got locked up. What's the difference? Some people got melanin, some people don't. I digress.
Mm-hmm.
Pose as a spy. If I wanted to be the spook by the door, which is a book that Nip recommended that we're going to go over, join the American Alliance for Equal Rights group and
Mm-hmm.
see what this membership is looking like, and then take that information and leverage it on the back end. Because the Fearless Fund, which represents only $3 million of venture funding in America, which is 0.4% of the venture funding in America, shouldn't have to be going through this. So if we're giving out what, $80 trillion and you're focusing on 3 million, how can you leverage this law? Well, join the American Alliance for Equal Rights and figure out how to sabotage it from the inside, right? Um, of course, I wouldn't do that because all I am is your favorite YouTube character that's just trying to put information out there. And that's just an example that I used in real life. What I would tell you to do is identify how to support the Fearless Fund, talk about the Fearless Fund. Their CEO is a great young lady. I don't know her name off the top of my head, but I saw her present very well on YouTube. Excuse me. Well, it was on YouTube because I was watching Bloomberg, but it was on Bloomberg, and she really held it down. And those sisters, they need help. So check out the Fearless Fund. And if you need to pose as a friend and work as a spy to be a resource for the Fearless Fund, I think that's a good way to do it. And maybe if you use AI, you could be
You know.
more powerful. But hey, we're gonna see what
Yeah.
happened with that, right? So then my next law, um, concentrate your focus. Law number 23. It's a good number. Shout out to all the athletes that have had that number, but we all know Jordan is the one who started the trend. So concentrate your focus, right? So what's the pro? Focusing your resources and efforts on a specific goal or objective increases your chances of success, and it allows for you to have an efficient allocation of your resources and maximize your impact, right? So how does that relate to what you could do as a business owner? Like, well, what do you specialize in? Me personally, I don't feel like there's anybody in the world that can hire people better than me. I feel like I'm the best recruiter, talent acquisition guy in the world, right? So if I focus my efforts in on that, then it'll allow me to open up other doors. So what did I do? I leveraged about like 15 tools that people are using in the AI space to, help people create resumes, create their LinkedIn's, get their interviews situated, things of that nature, right? So like I didn't need those tools, but because I was already nice before, but now I know that those tools are available. So I'm going to double down on that. I'm going to concentrate on how to be a better recruiter. Like this is my side hustle. So like my main job when I'm recruiting,
Mhm.
well, now I'm going to be a better recruiter. And the better I am at that, the better I can be for my clients. And the better I am for my clients, I feel like I'm going to be better for the world. I feel like I'm a serial social entrepreneur because I've been doing this kind of work for a long time. Like, and AI just happened to come across my desk, right? And then what is a con? Over concentration on a single goal may blind you for other opportunities or threats, right? So it could also lead to neglect of important aspects of your life and balance, right? If all I cared about was recruiting all day, I don't even think me and Sid would have been able to lock in like we locked in because
Yeah.
she could tell you, like, I'm using AI for a multitude of reasons and I'm using it as an affirmation bot. So I'm able to craft images and correlate them to Bible verses and share them with my colleague at 555, which is an angel number. And if you're into angel numbers, well, you already know that 555 has some positive correlation to it. Anybody who's watching this, they can tell me what 555 means. I'll give you an hour of my services for free because it means that you done listened this far through the video, right? Little Easter egg, straight up. You know what I
Hey.
mean? Yeah, yeah. And today is February 16th. That offer expires on April 16th, 2024, right? So if you responded later, nah, you don't get it. But yeah, man, like, so like make sure that you don't over concentrate and oversaturate on a specific thing, right? So like, yeah, I'm good at recruiting, but I'm empathetic. And to be a good recruiter, you have to be empathetic and, concentrate on your focuses, but forces actually, that is a focus. Concentrate on your forces, but don't get lost in the sauce. But what are your thoughts on
Don't
that,
get
Sid?
lost in the sauce. Yeah. No, I definitely would, especially as a business owner. I think when I first started, I was like, I'll do anything. Like, I'm a digital marketer, so I've done email, content creation, like blog writing. I've done social media management, which is my main expertise. I've managed websites. I'm not a web developer, get that clear. But if you set the website up, I can manage it from there. So when I first started, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do everything that I've done, like experience wise. And one, you get burnt out pretty quick because you're kind of all over the place. It's like hone in, and shout out to YB who helped me niche down to like, okay, what are the things you actually want to do? Who do you actually want to work with? And I mean, it's a game changer for me at least. I know some people are against kind of niching down and all that stuff, but I mean for me it's been great because you can focus on what you're good at and you can work with who you want to work with, and it's a better environment. And if you're somewhere, if someone asks for something outside of your scope, you can always refer or be like, hey, I'm not expert in this, but I know somebody. And then you're building a referral basis with someone, which is that's relationship building, which is awesome. But yeah, definitely it's good to focus on what you're good at. On the flip side about the con, I mean, you definitely don't want to be have tunnel vision where it's like, okay, this
Mm-hmm.
is the only thing I'm doing. Like if I had tunnel vision, I don't know nothing about apparel. Yeah, God called me to create Let Go, Let God. I remember when I had when he told me, I said, God, I don't know nothing about apparel. Nothing, nothing, nothing. But like the messaging, like for example, Vic has subscribed people to my daily prayers I send out every single day, and I mean that's impactful. That's impacting people. Imagine if I was just like, no, I'm just gonna stay where I'm at and doing what I'm doing. You miss out on opportunities. So, yeah. So I definitely agree with both of the pros and cons that you said. I mean, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say 10-4, 10-4, man. Just like 10-4, man.
Yeah. So my next one is 43. It's work on the hearts and minds of others. So win people over emotionally. So for me, the pro, and this I've been experiencing this probably the last month, just with putting myself out there, doing more networking, meeting people, and I used to say, this is like up until last year, where before God was dealing with me, I was it's like, man, I hate people. I cannot stand people. And it's like, you around the wrong people. When you meet like the good, genuine people, people that iron sharpens iron, the people that you're around that make you better, it's a game changer. So especially as an entrepreneur, sales is relationship building. It might not happen tomorrow. We meet someone, it might not happen next week, but long term, hey, I have a good relationship with that person. You'll probably be the first person that pops into their mind. Like, oh, I can refer Vic to you, or oh, I want to work with Vic on this. Like, he's a great dude just because of your have a good relationship with people. You know what I mean? Like, people want to feel heard. People want to feel like you're serving them in some capacity. Whatever it may be. Um, so for pro, if anyone's trying to networking and you're like, man, I'm not getting, it's a long game. It's long term. Some stuff might happen quick, but you have to build that emotional relationship with people, which is super important for entrepreneurship because you're a BD, your sales, you are kind of everything until you at the point where you can bring people onto your team. Um, and then I would say the cons of this is, if let's say you meet somebody that you guys aren't vibing, it's okay. Like, don't force it. I think people sometimes will try to force a relationship that's not there, or maybe you're not meant to be with that person, and that's work with that person, and that's completely fine. But you have to be content with that as well. So, yeah.
I think my take on it is instantly. I think passion, right? When you win
Hmm.
people over emotionally and you win their hearts and their minds, if you're genuinely passionate about something, like just be yourself. Like don't be out here like I'm a little older, man. You say you 30, you say you 28. I'm 38, so we got a
Yeah, 10
decade there,
years.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is good though, because it's like
Yeah. Mhm.
we got different generations, different genders. You know what I'm saying? And
Um,
it's good, right? I would say that I think both of our generations, there's a big thing with clout. Everybody want to be
mhm.
somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and it just isn't genuine, man. I hate. I'm an ambivert. I'm a big ambivert, so
I
that
remember you
just
told
means
me
I'm
that.
an introvert. Yeah, but see what you said when you said you hate being around people, like it correlates with this a ton because you're just ambiverted, which
Mhm.
is normal. I'm the same way. I think that's something we got in common because it's like me, we lock in, we could just talk. But
Yeah.
like whenever YB take us, I remember we was talking about going to like Miami or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like whenever we out there, man,
Yeah.
it's like I'm in the corner just like scoping the scene and you be at
Same.
the bar having fun but I'm making sure ain't nobody gonna mess with my little homie Sid. You know what I mean? And it's just like I don't know if that's trauma from a childhood on some fight or flight stuff. Definitely not gonna flight in them situations.
Mhm.
But you know, the passion that you have, it's infectious. We were talking about my little cousin Kamari that passed. Like he was
Yeah.
a kid that had an infectious personality and he taught children as a child. He was 12. And like that energy was gonna always resonate through me forever. So like whenever I think about that, right, always just work on the hearts and the minds of others through, just being yourself. And the honest con is like if you doing it for like likes or you capping or like, you just doing
Mhm.
it for the money or you gonna sell your soul because we're gonna speak it into existence. This clip is gonna get a billion views, right? And oh, Vic is in the Illuminati, Sid is in the Illuminati. Like, I mean, they can say that. I mean, I'm down with Prince Hall. So I mean, if whatever, what I'm saying. But like, that don't mean nothing about nothing. It don't mean nothing about nothing, man. But at the same time, what I'm saying. Like, I think passion resonates, and fake
Mhm.
is gonna fade away, man.
Oh yeah,
So,
definitely.
um, let me see. So. Law number 47. Do not go past the mark you aim for. In victory, learn when to stop. Let me
Mm.
stop right here and shout out Nip because Victory Lap was a great album. Where he was at in his career, Sid, when he dropped that album, I think that was like first time getting acknowledged, going to the Grammys and stuff, right? But just imagine a guy who came up out some treacherous streets, from Crenshaw and Slauson. Like LA gang politics is crazy. He's a rolling 60s Crip and all that. I know about all that, right? But like when he named the album Victory Lap, man, he had already dropped, Crenshaw. He had already dropped Extra
Mhm.
Laps in the Marathon. Those Bullets Ain't Got No Names on it albums was great. Slauson Boys, great albums, just great bodies of work. And then he said it was the victory lap, right? So like once you get to that space where you're there,
Yeah.
um, this law says know when to stop. And what I think I hear from that, and I just think about the victory lap, like he stopped thinking like a kid from around the way, right? Like, my background, I was Knucklehead and Killeen, Texas. Shout out to the K. It's gonna always be 254 to the world blow. And once I left though, I
Mhm.
got to Virginia, my life changed. And I never had a mark to aim for. Now I do though with this business. And once I get there, then I know that I'm going to stop acting a certain way, right? So
Right.
let's kind of will it back in because I'll get on my tangents talking about my life and nip. But a pro in that law is like knowing when to stop or to pull back prevents overexhaustion and burnout.
Mhm.
It allows for you to preserve your resources and consolidate on and concentrate on your gains, right? So like the biggest thing I'd say is like right now I'm locked in so much like I ain't sleeping a lot. Like I'll be waking up like at 4. I go to the gym at like 5, and I'm 100 miles an hour until like about 7 or 8, and then I crash. And I got to work on that. I got to work on that.
Yeah.
And my
Yeah.
wife is no, like would you would like ask with your husband,
Mhm.
like how many times you get mad at him because he's falling asleep because y'all watching the show, right? You know what I
Oh, so
mean?
we're so we're flip flopped. So my husband stay up. I'm out. I'm done. And he'll say, "Sid, what's the point of watching?" I said, "Man, I'm tired, but I'm a morning person, so I'm up. I'm
Yeah.
up at like 5, 4:30. He's the night owl, which works well because we have 2 kids. So hey, you stay up with them. I get up. It works out, but no, I'll be tired.
No, I mean, I'm the same way, man. And it's like, if you're looking at this law, it's like, we working towards something. Like you and me both have goals, and we just gonna keep getting there. But like at the same time, it's always good to take a step back and look at what you've accomplished and
Oh yeah.
concentrate on that, right? Some of the wins are good, but I'm looking at it like, I don't know. I ain't gonna be satisfied until I hit that goal. So whatever that mark is, aim for it. But once you get there, like take that
Hmm.
victory lap and just relax and be like Nip at the Grammys with the bow tie. And I think he was with Laura London at the time. And just revel in your success because God is going to always bless you with those moments and you appreciate those moments, but you don't know what time is. Time is fleeting, right? And then a con to that is stopping too early may result in missed opportunities for success or growth. It could also lead to complacency and undershoot the shot for potential threats, right? So like if you see like we'll talk like the young boys. If there's an op coming your direction and you get complacent, like I just got finished watching Top Boy. Great, great, great piece of cinema. Won't do any spoilers, but some of the deaths in the end of the movie could easily be chalked up to some of those guys got overconfident in themselves. And how you relate that to business is I'm working in AI right now. I think I'm early,
Hmm.
but if I just rest on my laurels and my little bit of success, the market is going to get saturated eventually. And then
Right.
that kid who's around the corner, who's just as hungry as me, he's going to come eat my food. In Top Boy, it's just so apropos that I'm able to even freestyle this quote off the top of my head. In that movie, in that the last episode, it was I think Sully and Duchesne were talking to each other, and it was more or less along the lines of you know said something along the lines of like I gotta be a monster. Look where I came from. Either you
Hmm.
become a monster or you become food, and I can't be food. Don't
Right.
become food. Don't become food. Be a
Right.
monster and aim for the stars. And once you get that victory lap, like yeah, eat that and live in it. But then look, that wasn't Nip last album. He kept it going after that on the back end, and he just did a
Right.
lot of great stuff. And that's my thought process. How you ascertain that?
Oh no, I definitely agree with you. I mean, you have to know when to speed up and keep it going, consistent. Like even when you're tired or where it feels like things are going wrong, to like persevere through that. And then also, you definitely have to celebrate yourself. I feel like as entrepreneurs, we don't do that. Like I know for me, my husband would be like, "Sid, you do this." I'm like, "That's great, but like, what about all these other things? You always see the bigger picture. You kind of see the vision and where you want to be at. But definitely take that time to celebrate your wins. I mean, they don't come around often, or maybe they do, but still, you should definitely celebrate them. But definitely don't get complacent or slow down because you're right. Sh- your momentum might be shot. And for me, I invite God into every situation that I have. Decision making, kind of like, okay, am I supposed to go this route, this route? So I lean into Him a lot. I would encourage you all to do the same. It makes things easier. You avoid things because God tells you things before it's about to happen. So if you know something's like, hey, this ain't this, it might go this route, but you got to push through this. It's like, okay, got it. So no, I definitely we're on the same page with that. It's a fine line, pretty hard. I feel like at times.
Affirmative,
Um,
affirmative.
and then my next one is law 4. Always say less than necessary. Be economical with your words. Avoid unnecessary chatter. So we all have that person that just be talking. We all have a person that just you don't tell them nothing because they're just gonna say it to whatever. And my daughter, she's 12, so she used to be like that. I said, Lydia, you gotta you gotta know when to say certain things because it can get you caught up. It really can. It definitely can get you caught up if you're saying the wrong thing to the wrong person. But on the flip side, my daughter's a huge. I'm using her as an example because she's a perfect example for this. She's a huge advocate for herself. She'll be quick to say, like, if something's kind of going wrong in front of her or something doesn't sound right, she'll speak up and say, "Hey, actually, it's da 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 da." And in those situations, it's like, "Oh, okay, thanks, Lydia," whatever it may be. So I think a pro to that is knowing when to say something and who you're saying it to, because unnecessary chatter, it kind of ties back to what if you got the person that's trying to be your friend but really it's a spy. You might be chatting too much around that person. So that's my viewpoint on it, pretty quick.
Yeah, shout out to Killer. I mean, this show is kind of based off of rap music. So shout out to Killer, shout out to Cam. Well, that's the same person. Shout out to Killer, shout out to Mason Betta. They got some dope content out there. And Chatty Patty. Him and Dame got on Breakfast Club, and I think it's actually Dame that said it. It wasn't I don't even think Killer was with him. But yeah, don't be a Chatty Patty. And how it relates to business is, I can tell you that I sell the gift of time and stop right
Mhm.
there. Most people will
Yeah.
be like, what do you mean? But if I tell you I sell the gift of time, and I do that because I'm able to teach you large language models, and I'm able to teach you how to leverage four or
Yeah.
five different generative AI tools, and I can tell you a methodology that I developed, and I got a 121 page prompt library, and page one says this, page two says that, you overdo it, right?
Yeah, overdo it. Yep. Because then it's like, all right, I'm checked out. I was checked in when you said that first line. Oh, you can save me time. Tell me more. Like, tell me more about what you do. Yeah.
I mean, like, and to be real, that's like mic drop, like perfect law to speak to from a business owner's perspective, because we're
Hmm.
all trying to elevator pitch, right? So, like, when you're
Oh yeah.
thinking of a 48 law, put that in Chat GPT. Help me improve my elevator pitch and correlate it to law number 4. And again, because I want customer feedback, respond in the comments below. And if you do, I give you an hour of service for free, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, tell me what your prompt is, man. I mean, hopefully we can get some feedback, right? So, that's
Yeah.
that's my thoughts on that one. So let's see. Yeah, law number 29. It's a real good one. Plan all the way to the end.
Mm.
So, thorough planning and foresight helps to anticipate obstacles and challenges, allowing for better preparation and adaptation. It increases the likelihood of achieving a desired outcome, right? So, This venture that I'm on, man, I've literally been trying to execute this for about 15 years in just various different formats, right? And I always had the thought process at the end of the day, all I wanted to do was help people just get jobs. And my first
Right.
job out of college was intense, and all the way to the end, how does it get there? Like there's so many spots, right? But now since I got AI, it allows for me to kind of execute it on a different perspective, right? So like now it's like, okay, um, year one, I'm going to set up the foundation of the business. I'm going to make sure when taxes go around, because I just got finished doing my taxes, that
Hey, do y'all taxes. If
oh
you haven't
yeah,
done it, get it done.
oh
Don't be
yeah.
late.
And let me tell you this on our call on Sunday. I'm gonna tell everybody, but this is a exclusive for you. I paid my CPA through my business, right? So like because I charged $250 an hour for my services, and he charged
Mhm.
like 225 to do our me and my wife's taxes because it's an LLC, so it's a pass through. Or he was like, hey,
Mhm.
yo, just let me lock in with you for an hour, teach me AI, and we're good, right? So
Uh,
like
hey,
that's the thing. Like
that
when you're a business
yeah.
owner, boom. I'm trying to get the same thing with my barber, man. So I can be like, hey, look, don't charge me $40 for an edge up. You know what I
Right.
mean? But like if you have that thought process in mind on the front end that you're going to be able to have a service and you stand on business and your service is great, you can do that.
Yeah.
And whether it's making sure that your taxes are properly situated, or it's making sure that you're properly identifying funding, your SWOT analysis, or anything like that, right? Just
Mhm.
plan it all the way through. And then the con is over planning, because the over analysis is over paralysis, I think is the term, right?
That I was about to say it. That's what it is. Analysis
Analysis
paralysis or
paralysis, that is
something like that.
exactly it. Tell me what your
Yeah.
thoughts is on that. Like you do that con, because like that's a big one, and we're locked in on that.
Oh yeah, no, it's and I was talking to someone last week, 2 weeks ago. I created a social media strategy for her, and she told me she's like, I'm a project manager, and I get like the analysis paralysis where you get caught up in just the planning. Like you're like, okay, it's almost like you can't do the work because you're so caught up in trying to plan every single step. And at some point, you just gotta jump in. Especially with entrepreneurship, you gotta jump into a lot of stuff where it's like it might not be perfect, but you're gonna learn from it. You're gonna learn a lesson. Okay, I know I could do this. I'm gonna do this differently because of what I just experienced. But no, that's definitely I feel like a huge con for some people, and you miss your opportunities too because you get caught up and you're not reacting and kind of being proactive. You're just like stuck. Like imagine if you have a business and you're stuck in the plan. You've been planning for this for like 3 years, just planning. Like haven't done nothing towards the formation of it, haven't created any assets behind it, just planning. It's like that's 3 years of missed opportunities. And I know people don't want to fail. I know people are trying to eliminate mistakes, but you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna make mistakes. Even like the millionaires, billionaires, they've made mistakes, but you learn from it and you move forward. So yeah, definitely don't get the analysis paralysis. It's a no because you're gonna be stuck. That's the best feeling. It's like that's the worst feeling. I mean, you're a feeling stuck.
10-4. I think you got one last one, right?
Yeah. So my last one is law number 9, which is win through your actions, never through argument. Why is my thing not going down? Hold up, y'all.
You want me to read the overview?
Oh no, I got it. Demonstrate your abilities through actions rather than words. Y'all, I guess the pro for this. I mean, you have to be action oriented. I say this like I say to my husband all the time because he's always like, Sid, you always just jump, jump, jump. I'm like, I'm action oriented. My mind set to something, it's it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I can't sit and keep talking about it. You know what I mean? And by jumping into something, it's scary. You might make mistakes, but at least you're kind of in it and you can kind of navigate and you'll learn lessons and you'll figure it out. Um, a con to this is jumping too early. So if you and God bless my husband because he levels me out. He'll be like, Sid, I don't think it's a good idea. Just wait. And for me, this past year, God's been working on me with patience because entrepreneurship is patience. I mean, it's a lot of patience. You could work every single day and jump into things, but ultimately, you gotta be patient to see. results or to see things start to form. So a con I definitely would say is, you have to read the room. Like, is this a situation I really should be jumping into, or is it better for me just to wait it out and see? You know what I mean? And a great way to discern that is through prayer. I'm always going to bring up prayer on this thing. Prayer, for sure. Prayer will reveal things to you. Prayer to God, the one and only, will reveal things to you, and you'll be able to then discern, like, should I jump or should I fall back, be patient, and wait. But definitely be action oriented. Don't be an entrepreneur where all you do is talk and there's no production behind it, because then you're not going to be referred people, you're not going to be credible. That's a big thing that YB in the community that we're in, you got to be credible, you got to have credibility. So that's super important.
Yeah, and I think just kind of to, piggyback on that, when you went through your actions, actions speak louder than words, so you don't really got to argue, right? Like, it's one of those things where, I can tell you how great of a AI coach I am, or I can let Sid tell you, right? And
Mhm.
or I can let the actions that I have shown through, like, multiple other use cases and proof of concepts. Like, I'll let other people be my advocates, right? And then, it's easier when you're having evangelists speak on your behalf as opposed to you just
Yes.
arguing. Like, when you should argue, like, this is the God honest truth. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. And
uh,
we,
Giants.
wrong team, wrong team. We Cowboys fan, and y'all have had more Super Bowl wins than we have in the recent years, which is terrible because whatever though, right? Um, as a Cowboys fan, you can't argue this. The best time to be a Cowboys fan is like next month and the month after, March and April, because it's the draft. There's hope. There's, hey, we're not worried about next year. But the worst time to be a Cowboys fan is this month and last month because we always choke in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm a Cowboys fan, and I'm telling you that, right? So, like, it's one of those things where, like, I'm not gonna argue
Mhm.
it. Look at the actions of Jerry Jones. I mean, Tony Pollard should not have had as terrible of a year as he had. Rico Dottle is nice, but I mean, come on, what's going on? CeeDee Lamb, nasty. Brandon Cooks, nasty. Micah Parsons, nasty. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, we got them young boys. We got Shoemaker as the tight end, and we got, I could go over and over. You know what I'm saying? I'm a football guy. Dak, you coming out of Mississippi State, man. You're making them look bad, damn it. You know what I'm saying? You got to do better, baby. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not gonna argue with. You can't argue with me. I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm looking at the actions. Like, when you were so if you're 10 years younger than me, have you ever even seen a Cowboys Super Bowl in your lifetime? I don't even think so. What, you
I
was born in
don't
like
I don't
90?
think so. All my uncles are Cowboys fans, and I always see them get upset every year after year after year. And I'm like, I married into the Giants, y'all. I married in. Husband's like, okay, so everybody needs Giants. There's no other team here. It's just this. I'm
You
like, all
know
right,
that
whatever.
that's beautiful. We in the same division. We're gonna have fun. I hope this keeps rolling towards football season. But
Yeah.
so I ended up cheating and I did six because I think that's six, right? One, two, three, four, five, six, right? So I'm gonna combine these last two. So
Okay.
law 10
Mm-hmm.
is infection, avoid unhappy people. And then law
Mm,
16 is use absence to increase respect and honor, right? So I'll just combine both of them and say
yeah.
this. Protect your energy, man. Like, big way to do that is to avoid unhappy and unlucky people. I feel like Sid is the just
Mm-hmm.
nicest salt of the earth person, and anytime I can, like, just get around her energy, it just is good because, like, a lot of times I live in my own thoughts and I'm chasing the goal and I ain't got it. So it's kind of like, nah, man, you gotta think, like, you ain't there, and just surround yourself around people who are like grinding like you, and like the way her grind is, it's like, it's a spiritual one, and she incorporates, God in a lot of what she does, and like, I need that, right? So, like, do that, right? But then when you look at law 16, absence increases respect and honor. Don't be on social media every day, people. You know what I mean? Like, and if you're gonna be on
Yeah.
social media, like, get it cracking on LinkedIn. You can check me out on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn a little bit more.
Hey.
I don't really
Yeah.
do like Facebook and
Instagram,
IG.
TikTok,
I got a Twitter, but my Twitter is like I'm a big, like, so there's a
X.
thing. Well, yeah, man. Look, I don't care for Elon,
X.
so X. But if you say X 3 times, then we're gonna get demonetized. You know what I'm saying? So the bird. It ain't even a bird app, right? We just gonna call that the Dez Bryant app. Yeah, because I'm a Cowboys fan. Dez Bryant. So when you're on the Dez, right? I got one, but it's all about football. So like I follow a whole
Hmm.
bunch of I'm always give flowers to people I love. Roster Watch. That's Alex Dunlap, Brian Lambert, and the Trash Man, Cody Carpentier over there. I love those guys. Player Profiles, Matt Kelly, love those guys. And Destination Debbie, that's Ray, and that's Ray Garvin, and your boy, man, I can't even think of his young boy name, but he's going to kill me. But if you're ever into fantasy football, those 3 platforms, Destination Debbie, Roster Watch, and Player Profile, I love those pieces of content. But on
Right.
Twitter, that's all I'm following. I'm a gambler, so
Yeah.
we'll talk about that on the back end. But I'm following football. I'm following horse racing. I'm following golf is really big right now. I made a little bit of
Yeah.
money last week. But it's like for fun versus like the Twitter I had in college. Well, I was saying some outlandish things. So, needless to say, you ain't got to be out there because like now when I drop and I post on Instagram or when I post on Facebook, like the
Yeah.
aesthetic and the energy and the response is different, right? Build up a
Right.
little suspense, right? Just surround yourself again around positive, successful people that are
Hmm.
inspiring, and just create that positive environment, and just avoid people who are unlucky and unhappy and don't have empathy and don't have compassion. What is that? Social media. Like for the most part, that's exactly what you see. And then when you're gone, like by being selective with your presence and like being able
Hmm.
to cultivate like a certain mystique or air or importance about the stuff you drop, it really allows for you to have value with your time and your intention, right? And then,
Right.
when you do it from that perspective and you're not overly frequent, the feelings of neglect or resentment are
Mhm.
going to fade. And, hopefully that missed, um, you know, presence will develop like a genuine desire to be like, okay, what's this guy on right now? So like I combined it 10 and 16
Combine it.
together.
Oh, I
Yeah.
definitely agree with you because comparison is the thief of joy, y'all.
Ooh,
So,
bar.
so social media compare. I mean, you look at people's lives, you're like, man, how come they have this? How come they have that? And then you just get in this negative mindset because you're just comparing why you're not where they're at, or we all go through different things. Our journeys are different, and our purpose and journey are for us. That's how God intended it to be. Like, you can't look at somebody else and say, I want this, this, and this that they have. You know what I mean? You might want something that they have, and maybe you do get to that point, maybe you do reach it, but your journey is going to be it's going to be different. So you can't go on social media and I'm a social media manager, so I be on social media all the time. You can't sit there and compare your life to everybody else. It's going to drive you insane. And back to the point I said earlier, iron sharpens iron. If you're around a bunch of people that are negative, or they're not striving for the same things you're striving for, people don't think about it in the moment. It's like, okay, but still I can do what I can still, push myself. And it's hard because that's stuff is contagious, because then your mindset starts to change and it starts to kind of adapt to what you're around. You know what I mean? Like for me, I used to just sit this time last year, maybe a year and a half ago, I would always just sit and probably I would binge watching Netflix for hours. Hours. I know a lot of us do this. Hours. I don't even watch TV like that anymore. Like I'm just so like I'll listen to podcasts, I'll maybe watch a sermon, or I just in silence. And I had to get used to sitting in silence. I think that for me because I always had to have something going, and it's just like it. You don't realize how much just small little changes or habits like that change your mindset and change your focus. So no, I definitely agree with you. That's huge. Don't compare, y'all. Don't. It's gonna drive you. It's gonna drive you insane. It really
100%.
will.
So I mean, like for the most part, man, I think we didn't got through the whole concept of this, right? So as we're
Mhm.
wrapping up, let's kind of just talk about next steps and how we even got here, right? So initially, I read off about 21 books, and we just asked AI, which book should we start with? And the first book it said was Kiara and the Sun, and we were like, hold on, that ain't on the list. So then we went back, and then it was like, oh, I recommend starting with 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. This book offers strategies for achieving power and influence, making it a cultivating choice for discussion. It delves into the dynamics of power, providing valuable insights that can
Mhm.
spark engaging conversations, debates within the book club. Enjoy exploring the laws of power in real life applications, right? So, two things we want to leave y'all with. Number one, AI ain't always right. So, make sure,
Yes.
you do your due diligence. But then number two, like this is just an interactive way to have a book club. The neighborhood nip book club is just about, a guy who loves nip and a young lady who loves God who doesn't know about nip, and just both of us having the common thread of we want to be better entrepreneurs, right? And then talk to me about when I presented this to you and I gave you that image, right? We're gonna give I don't know how we're gonna incorporate this image into the video, but like,
Oh,
I asked AI.
I'll add it in. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
add a picture on one of. There will be a picture somewhere on this. Might be in the center of where we're at, but AI kind of generated a picture from what we just from that book, and it's an awesome image, and it's just I'm about to pull it up just so I can like I don't miss any part.
No, and as you're pulling it up, like, just high level, right? Like it's one of those things where I know for a fact that this stuff is a good teachable moment because I use it in my 9 to 5. Like I got a young lady who I work with, and
Hmm.
I just was like, hey, use the 48 laws of power, and then if you want to reinforce your learning, just ask for it to create an image around it, right? Now, I think that requires you to have maybe ChatGPT 4, so you can use a couple of other apps. Y'all ain't paying me yet, so I don't know if I'm gonna really shout y'all out. But I think Gemini just started allowing that. I don't even know if you can use that with Gemini now. When it switched over from Bard, I don't know if it's creating images, but Dolly is the main one though. But yeah, tell me about when
Yeah.
I even presented that to you, and then when an image popped up, like how that make you feel?
And these images, they're so cool. Like Vic was sending them in our group chat. He would send me the daily affirmations in the morning with these cool, amazing images. And so the one that's going to be showing here is a black woman who's sitting in the center, and the vibe is like corporate America. So you have it's about there's like two sections up top, and there's like one big one at the bottom, and she's presenting this. I'm assuming presenting some type of presentation on what she's done or maybe a plan for the future. And as a black woman entrepreneur, it's at least in my experience, like corporate experience, you don't see many of us like up in the corporate ladder. If you do, they took a lot of hard work to get there. It didn't come easy. So when you see someone like in this picture that kind of represents for me, that's it's like, oh, I can look at that. It's like, oh, that could be me. That can be me presenting in a room, say like investors, like, hey, I'm doing this with my business, and your money will go to this, this, and this, and that's kind of the vibe that it brought to me. And it's just like a power statement. Anybody can be in the room with those millionaires, those billionaires, any a seat at the table. God might have a seat at the table for you, and you just have to work hard, be able to discern, which route you should go to be to that point. You know what I mean? There are plenty of doors for us to walk through, but it's about walking through those right doors, those doors that are going to take you to that next level. Because getting to that next level is challenging. Those opportunities don't come around every single day. So when it presents itself, it's about just walking through that door and taking advantage of the opportunity.
100%. And I think we pretty much we done knocked it out, man. We're gonna keep these going. We're gonna ask AI what's the next book we should do. I mean, I think it should be Contagious, by
Oh yeah,
Jonah Berger.
that was a
But
good one. Yeah.
oh yeah, we'll see. But I always want to leave the viewer with some like just positive stuff, man. Like last time that I checked, there's a dope song Nip came out with, and YB had shouted it out on one of our last calls, right? So, check that song out. Like, if you've never heard any of Nip music, man,
Mhm.
I call it go up, go and get in music, grind music, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
at the end of the day, a lot of our young brothers who are artists are sometimes vilified because all they talk about is street culture and things of that nature, right? But then
Mhm.
when the other side does, movies about, killing, um, murder mysteries or husbands or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. It's like it's not looked at like that. It's not looked at art. Like I think Nipsey Hussle
Right.
was an artist and he was a social entrepreneur and innovator. He never got to marry his fiance, but great father and fiance, man. So it's like, look at the
Yeah.
humanity of the young brother, and not just that he was a summarization of the rolling 60s off of Crenshaw and Slauson, man. It was more than that, right? Because I ain't
Right.
even from out there. I don't know nothing about none of that. Like outside of listening to No Jumper and Joe Budden's debate about whatever is on the minds of whatever, right? But hopefully we're gonna keep putting these contents out.
Yeah.
Support black owned business. This shirt, black owned business. I can't remember little buddy name, man. But Rob, economics. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I'm gonna shout him out properly, right? Because we live, and I'm just,
Yeah.
because I was gonna wear a whole different shirt, but this was one sitting over there, so I was like, what I'm saying,
Hey.
but like, shout out black owned business, man, and like, the
Mhm.
marathon continues. But I'll let you go ahead and close the remarks, Sid.
Oh yeah, a shop, let go, let God, apparel, of course. And definitely, definitely consider just dive in. If you're iffy about AI, definitely dive in and see how you can leverage it for your business. I mean, it's when you mean it saves time, it saves some time. I'm trying, especially if you're in the content creation space, even if you just need an idea, like hey, I need an idea for this. You have a starting point. So I definitely will encourage you to do that. But definitely like and subscribe. Let us know if you think that we should also put this on like Apple Podcasts or anything. We're gonna start on YouTube just to see how it goes. But if you think we should venture into like Apple Podcasts or Spotify podcasts, let us know to kind of see because obviously like if you're at work or if you're driving, you can't open up. I mean, you can open up YouTube, but it might not be as convenient. So definitely let us know your thoughts in the comments and
For
stay tuned for
sure.
us next time. So this will be how often are we doing this again?
Hey man, man, like you
I
got
think
kids, and like life be happening, but like I'm with however you want to do it, man, because yeah,
stay tuned. We'll figure out how frequency, but this is thank if you made it all the way to this point, thank you so much for watching our first episode all the way through. We definitely look forward to making more of these.
for sure.